Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. Hope you enjoy. Story number 1, Talking Shop, written by Ice Cream and Wine. Tanther shivered nervously as he moved to the shop door. I don't really want to do this, he said to himself. He shook himself and opened the door. The shop was dark and gloomy and appeared to be empty. I really don't like this, he thought. Where was Nightar? As far as he knew, she hadn't run away or been forced out like most of the Block's other residents. Something was off here, and he didn't like surprises. Who are you and what do you want? Said a voice in an atrociously accented common. Tanther nearly jumped out of his skin as some of the gloom resolved itself into a smallish creature that advanced into the center of the shop. It was wearing a hooded cloak, so he couldn't see it properly. Where's Nightar? I have to talk to her, said Tanther. She's in terrible danger. She's not here, so you can talk to me instead, said the creature. Kraken is on his way and she needs to be somewhere else before he gets here. As I said, she is not here right now. Now who are you and what does Kraken want with her? My name is Tanther and I don't really have time for this. I have to warn Nightar. I suggest you make time and tell me what's going on. There is no time for that, said Tanther, moving towards the cloaked figure, then stopping in his tracks, as the largest hand cannon he'd ever seen in his life just appeared out of nowhere. I'm waiting, said the figure. Kraken's the chief enforcer for the local crime syndicate. He's a stone-cold killer, and he likes to hurt people. And what does that have to do with Nightar? Now that Nightar's parents are out of the way, Rotark, the local crime boss, wants the shop and inventory, and will force Nightar to sign them over to him, and then he'll probably kill her. And how do you know this? Encouraged by the hand cannon waving up and down, Tanther said, It is common knowledge on the streets, and what Rotark wants, Rotark gets. You say Kraken is on his way here? Yes. He should be here in a few minutes. In that case, you can leave by the back door and go home. But I need to see Night. You can't, and you should leave. Now! The voice spoke as the last word of the sentence in capital letters. Tanther considered his options and came to the correct conclusion and let himself out of the back of the shop. He briefly considered lurking in the alley, but the tone of his voice still rang in his head, and grudgingly he made his way home. The peace and quiet in the shop was interrupted by the door being nearly shaken off of its hinges by a 7-foot-tall Barot, all scaly hide, talons, and fangs. Nightar, where are you? You tiny little morsel. Time for some fun, it bellowed. The smallish hooded creature moved into the middle of the shop. Noisy bugger, aren't you? Who are you? Shouted Kraken. Produce Nightar now, or you will suffer greatly. No, that won't be possible. She's away visiting her parents in the hospital. Hospital? You mean they survived the crash? That they did. And how do you know about the crash? It's not common knowledge outside the family. What is it to you, you miserable small thing? I had hoped to have some fun with Nightar, but as you are here, you will have to do, snarled Kraken. Before he finished speaking, he lunged at the diminutive figure, his talons cutting through the space that, until very recently, had been occupied by the hooded figure. Twice more he tried, but the hooded figure just moved out of the way as he blundered past. Enough of this, you die now, Kraken screamed, drawing a sword, a 3-foot-long wickedly curved blade. Every time he cut the hooded figure, it just wasn't there. Time and again he tried, with the same non-result. Blowing hard, Kraken paused, and it began to dawn on him that he was outmatched and out of his depth. To answer one of your questions, I am a friend of the family. If Nightar's parents hadn't answered my distress call, I would have died on the asteroid after my ship drive failed. So, you can understand my interest in what happens to them, and I became very fond of Nightar. After they contacted me, I did a little research on this remote and lonely outpost, and what I discovered appraised me not. I am quite happy that I don't have to go looking for you. Kraken wanted to pull his pistol, and it was at this point it all went pear-shaped for him, and a few minutes later he drowned. Sometime later, armed with the requisite information provided by the late Kraken, the hooded figure wandered down the street towards the unassuming, dirty grey building. Even in the dark cycle, the building blazed with light from every window, and shadows could be seen moving to and fro inside. It was brain-numbingly cold on the street, and 2 guards were huddled in the arched doorway, trying to leech some heat from the nearly spent brazier. Sometime later, the hooded figure stepped through the door of Rotak's office and closed the door.
"Who the hell are you?"
said Rotak, pressing the button on his desk repeatedly. "Don't bother," said the hooded figure. "They are not coming."
"Not coming? What do you mean not— oh?"
"There, just to your left," said the hooded figure. "You really are a sorry excuse for a murderous bastard. You didn't even have the sense to have some real people on your payroll, did you? Everybody in this building belonged to you, and therefore it was easier than I thought."
"Look, we can work this out," blustered Rotok. "I can give you money, a ship, anything."
"No, you can't," said the hooded figure. "You have nothing left. No men, no bought and paid for coppers. Your accounts have been drained and passed on to the deserving, and all that is left is for you to pay the price of your crimes. Murder and torture of men, women, and children. And for what? To be the top man in this poxy little shithole in the middle of nowhere on a planet light years from anywhere. Maybe that's what you counted on, that nobody in authority would give a crap about what happened here. Well, the clock is always ticking around. Now your time is up." A day later, on the bridge of the Federal ship Lightbearer parked in the local square.
"Well,"
said Commander Dertarak.
"what did you find?"
27 dead criminals and bent coppers," replied Trooper Drangtag. "All the same way, hole between the eyes, even the Kruntarg, who technically don't have eyes. The hole was between the sensory organs.
Except for one.
It was a Draken." "Draken? We've been looking for him for years, ever since the recycling incident.
We found him now, well, most of him at least."
"What the hell happened here?"
"No clue at all, sir.
All I know is that some kid said that a hooded figure stopped him on the street and gave him a data node and told him to give it to the Federal Task Force. The data node laid it all out, names, dates, figures, everything. Everybody named in it node ended up dead. But according to the kid, that happened whilst we were en route," said Dertrak. "Yeah. I don't get that bit either. Or I do get it, and I don't want to think about it." "Who or what the hell could do this?" "Don't know, sir. But I wouldn't want to face them in a dark alley, or, well, a lit building, if it comes to that. None of the cameras were working either, in the street or in the building." "No, sir. Everything electrical in the building was shut down. Lights, computers, everything. Except for the aquarium. Don't ask. I don't get it either, sir," said Drangtag. "And, to be honest, I don't really want to think about it too much." Commander Dertrak was a practical man, and he, in his instance, decided to agree with his subordinate. Besides, other than the data node, he had nothing to go on. Everyone who appeared to be connected to this affair was dead. He figured that whoever was left alive was innocent. He would let the Commissioner Krog do the thinking. Sometime later, Tamfer said to Nightar,
"Who was that? And how did he do all of that in such a short time as well?"
Nightar smiled at him and said, "That was Dave."
"Dave?"
said Tamfer. "Come on, Tamf," laughed Nightar. "Everybody knows Dave." End of story. Story number 2. Human Landing on Titan, a Local Perspective. Written by SlowAD2584. "Oh my god, dude! Have you heard? One of the gods of ancient myth landed the other day. At least I think he was one of the gods. The stuff he did was certainly incredible. See, he landed in some sort of metal thing and stepped out. He was huge, probably at least 2 meters tall, and he was glowing white hot. He looked around, and his breath was literal lava. No, seriously. The droplets of molten water left his mouth and fell hissing to the ground, eventually solidifying back into proper crust material. Remind me to go get a sample. I'll need a pick. That's solid ice now." The guy walked around for a bit, using his tools here and there, doing a who knows what the gods do. His knife and drills were glowing red hot as well, and carved the ice crust up like it was butter. At one point, he put his hand to the cliff edge, and his hand began to melt the freaking rock face. He seemed to take joy from that bit, and started using his hands to work the solid ice into a little spaceman figure. Looking at him, holding a flag. He was forming a rocky ice with his freaking hands. Dude, I'll show you with the ice statue he made later. It only took him minutes, and will probably last forever. He then noticed one of our volcanoes in the distance and hurried over to it. And dude, he just hopped into the molten ice of the volcano crater and seemed to take a bath in it. A volcano! That molten ice had to be 120, 140 degrees at least. He sighed and seemed to be comforted by the volcano lava. He may have been cold before. Well, he got out of the volcano, steaming with the fiery lava vaporizing off of his body. Clouds of volcano fury following him as he hurried back to his ship and flew away. Wow, that was amazing, right? Some kind of flaming titan out of legend walked around a bit, spitting lava and melting stone, spending some time inside a volcano like it was nothing, like it was a relief. Can you imagine such a thing? End of chapter. I would quickly like to thank the Tier 5 members, Marky, Cam Maxwell, Caspar Arnolds, Oakfield, Lord Azrakul, and It's Difficult to Pronounce. Thank you very much.